been a minute. Just got a little busy with some of the tours and some of the shows I've been doing lately, but some of the people we got today are some of Chicago's finest. I'm glad this is happening right now. We got drinks, we got a table, we got our guests. So let's go see what everything's about. Another episode of Drinks at the Table. Sorry it's been taking so long, but the motherfuckers been busy. You know how it goes. But I'm excited about today's show. D-Nick from Microphone Misfits. We got more from Y City. We got Kwote from Tunnel Movement. So without further ado, man, I think we're gonna get started with this. One thing I like to do first is, and I'm gonna start with you and then we'll go around. Yeah. What got you into hip hop?
Man, that's so tough. Like what triggered me up?
I mean, what gravitated you towards this shit?
You know what, man? I liked. It was the first time in media, like of how we were. Yeah. You know, from like an honest portrayal, like it felt honest portrayal of like how black men were. There was some that was thugs. There was some that were like really intellectual, bohemian. There was some that was just like, you know, around the way, homies. There were people who were like bohemian, Afrocentric, but still like to taste pussy. Yeah. Like, it was so humanizing to see some stuff like that, like as a young black kid, and then like it was, for me, I was like, wow, man, that is cool. Like that was what kind of, I just liked the diversity of it.
That's what's up. What about you, Juan?
Well, I'm fairly young, so I went up at a time where like the pop music was hip-hop music, hip-hop days, Jay-Z, 50 Cent, Eminem. So I was exposed to it through that, but I wasn't ever like a hip-hop head or a fan until probably high school. And it started off like partying, freestyling, we was out around and listening to like Bone Thugs and 3 6 and all the like just get fucked up music. And I was always kind of into writing and into rhythms and music, so it all came together. I was like, it started off, like I said, party lyrics and bullshit lyrics and emulating what was on the radio and all that, and then that grew, okay, well, let me explore this artist and this artist and this artist. So it started off as a very, like, pop culture, mainstream thing that I just dove into as I got older and older and older, and that's really how it worked.
What about you, Kwote?
I know exactly when I fell in love with hip hop.
So you know the exact moment in time?
Exactly.
All right.
I was 16 years old. I was in math class. I asked one of the homies, "What are you listening to?" He told me, "Arsonist, As the World Burns."
That's my shit too. I love that.
And I was into like Master P and all that, so I had no information. I had no idea what underground hip hop was. So he let me use the headphones, and I listened to the album in my math class from beginning to end. I walked up to him, I said, "What the hell did I just listen to?" And he was like, "What, you don't like it?" I said, "I love it." And he was like, "It's the Arsonist." They're from, you know, from the location and everything. And I was like, "Is there more?" He goes, "There's a world more." I said, "Show me." Instantly fell in love with hip hop. When I first heard the first track, I just listened to the words. It was like poetry. It felt right. Like instantly, as soon as I heard it, I knew this just changed my life. Like seriously, I couldn't even believe how crazy it was at that instant, and I know exactly when it happened.
Shit, you started off with a good album, because that Arsonist is the producer, man. Look through the table battle. That was my shit, man.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, when I heard that, I was like, "What is this? This is crazy." Like, these guys are really like, you know, they're battling each other, and I didn't even know what battling was. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just a whole other level of what the, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, I grew up in a little village, like, you know, 24th and Spalding. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that wasn't around that era. That's like that Twister, you know, used to complicate. They didn't have no like, you know what I mean? Like just super bars, lyricism, underground beats like the New York, but there's nothing around there. You know what I mean? And when I heard it for the first time, I was like, show me more.
One thing I did want to talk about, because all of us are in groups, and I'm going to start with you. What do you think is the most difficult thing about being in a group?
Well, I mean, at the time, the people gotta be your brothers.
Yeah.
They can't just be workers, co-workers. They gotta feel your blood in and out. They gotta know you better than probably your girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? So they can catch the vibe of each other. Now once you get that collective from the group, as far as like, you know, the respect that you and him have for each other, or you and them have for each other, then to create the music is just vibing. It's a lot easier than it is to be with a stranger than not knowing anything about you.
I feel you, but I want to know, what do you think the hardest part about being in a group is? Because you know what, it has its pros and cons.
I mean, that's it. I mean, like, you want to do something he don't want to do. That's basically what it is. The bickering, the arguments, the miscommunication.
Yeah. I think the bigger the group, the harder it is to get
for sure. Just like the music video I told you I shoot. I had to, you know, contact a couple people, you know, to make sure.
What about you, Kwote? Yeah?
And Watch City, it started off like 12, went down to 7, 8 members, depending on the day.
Depending on the day.
But no, scheduling, man, because it's like everybody, when we started, it was cool, but we were all between the ages of 18 and 21, and nobody had, I mean, it's not that we didn't have responsibilities, we didn't have any real life or death.
And it's more an adventure during that time, too.
Right, exactly. It's new and we're all vibing. And now everyone's a little older, everyone's got life and bills to pay and families to provide for and whatnot, so it's like you gotta schedule to get everybody in the same room at the same time. It's just not possible all the time. So it becomes like, and you got these two working together more, these three working together more, and there's other people that are kind of, you know, and then it's flip-flopping. Somebody else gets busy and then somebody else is available now. And it's hard to do where when we started it was like we could get everybody songs together, we could all be in the studio, we could do any event that we want to do it all together. And now it's like we got, you know, sometimes we have 3, 4 members at the show, sometimes we got the whole squad, sometimes
And you guys are deep. I've been on tour with you too.
Right. And that time I think it was everyone minus one. It's our DJ, all our kinds of works out, we can get most of the crew.
So who's all the members in Watch?
You got myself, Moore, Dave Stone, Scotty Carnage, Angris, Sleepless, Kyle Kwote, DJ Outmore, Cash. So that's 8 right there. And then, you know, rest in peace to Nestor. It was like street team dude. We got a lot of guys that like, you know, just kind of high with us and all around and honor the crew and show.
What about you?
Really have this issue, but I see other groups have it. I don't think
it's no bullshit.
No bullshit. Like the hardest thing I think is accepting the role of accepting this person has this role, and you know, but we don't really. And the reason why I say we don't really have that is because we transition, like Microphone Misfits in 2003 was way different from the Microphone Misfits in 2014. And different members, but all still connected. Even the past, like members, we don't even say non-members, we say inactive. You know, like
that's not really cool.
Yeah, you know, because they still family. We still email. Our first DJ and producer is from Germany. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and then my first partner in rhyme was from Strong Island, New York. Then, you know, Pete, we went to do some record meetings and all that, and Pete was like, man, fuck this, I don't want to do this music shit. I want to do this for fun. But then his roommate was Ray of Light.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how we met Ray. And then Ray was kind of like a student of like mine. You know what I'm saying? He would see me in college like battling and all of this stuff. And then Drew moved to Florida, which meant Ray kind of stepped up. And Mel was the first person that taught us studio etiquette. So he was kind of always there in the wings, like teaching us and stuff. And then he became our DJ, and then there was DJ Mar who became our DJ. So we like had like a lot of transitions and stuff, and this is scheduling and you know, like I see other groups struggle with people accepting what they roll with.
Well, you know with that too, I think one of the biggest problems with archaeologists too is not a problem, I would say a problem.
Yeah.
Shit that happens is roles change. So there might be a year where Mike Specs is booking tons of stuff, and I'm busy working or I'm just trying to write, and then that role in reverse where I'm just booking tons of stuff. Then me and Mike could, you know, we can't get our schedule tight or Moyo or beats, you know, so that always becomes an issue. I think it's a little bit of everything of what everybody said, you know, because motherfuckers get older, hip hop ain't paying our rent. I mean, one day, hopefully it will. I'm trying to win a Latin Grammy, baby. But,
caught it. Oh! You know what I'm talking about? I was like, you fucked up. Nobody knows. I know, motherfucker. I see you.
see, what's dope is when you know his verse, and he just kind of stuck. You're like, he's singing, and then he gets right back on the field. Like, all right.
You know how that goes.
We did a show at, I think it was Tiger O'Styles, and you know they had those lights in the front, and Moyo D fell in one. Mid-verse. He fell in one mid-verse. So me and Mike, without hesitation, just started spinning his verse. So we got up, and then he started spinning his verse. And he's looking at us like, oh shit. And we're like, nah, so we're professionals.
I got one. I got it on video.
I'm gonna put the link up.
This is when I was doing more with Middle Ground. And this is when they introduced me. And it was Big Pun, Beware?
Yeah.
So the beat comes in, and I'm about to like spit the verse, and I'm rapping, and Prime for some odd reason puts his hands out and goes like this, and snatches the mic right from my hand, and I'm rapping into my hand. And I go and I look, and I grab somebody else's mic and put it there, and then just keep rapping the verse, but it was like not a misspeak.
Yeah.
But it was just funny because I don't know why he did that, but he just snatched the mic straight out of my hand, and I'm standing here with an invisible mic.
He's like, nah, fuck your verse.
And then I just grabbed another microphone and put it right there.
Those are one of those moments where the crowd's like, oh! I love those moments. Oh! Everybody put their hands up.
Even to this day, I ask him, what were you thinking?
It's where, I mean, I'm used to Ray's crazy. Like, he'll be like hyping the crowd, we doing speaking events, he'll just be hyping the crowd. I was like, dude, we go back and forth on it, and I just start doing. But when you're DJ, it's bugging out, there's the times, man, DJ Mar, you know, he'll be drunk on the wheels. Right. And he'll just be like, cutting like a red.
I'm spinning a verse over here. What are you doing?
And I just roll with it. You know, I just let him do what he's saying. He'll just be feeling it. He'll be like, what's the thing? I'm like, man, I just don't even go here. I just stop.
You gotta cover though.
That shit happens so.
That's when you give the DJs a little out of the back and turn it down.
But you know what? I think with a group too, man, it's hard for a lot of DJs that aren't part of your set. If you know, because we don't have a set DJ, so we usually rely on the house DJ. So and that and the controller. because ideology does a lot of back and forth. You know, we ad-lib each other a lot. So they'll cut off one of our mics and leave two on, but this guy's coming right in. So that we have it super low.
Yeah, no, I've had that before too, where the sound guy is like,
and you're touching
like turn up, but it's like we're all interacting.
Just leave them all at the same level.
That's the other thing that's good about being in a group. If my mic is low, my dude knows the mic is low. He could be, hey, raise his mic, hit me first. If I'm by myself, I can't tell him to raise my mic and my hit first. You know what I mean? I can, you know, you can't do all that.
But you would think doing gestures like this, or
you should know, but a lot of times
they should know.
Yeah, the sound guy, he got it.
I got the group. I've been looking crazy.
Let me go put it this way. This is the, there's no sound man. It's usually the bar guy with a mic.
But then he's come on $20 at the end of the day.
Texting and shit.
I can't stand it. I can't stand doing the set and like looking at the sound man. He's on his phone.
Sound man, yo, sound man. Hello. And then third time to wake up.
But that's one of the hardest things about being a group. And in particular, is the people always run on the DJ. If you got a DJ in the group, they always, and the way we go, I don't give a fuck if we go 5 minutes, 2 minutes, or 30 minutes. I'm not rocking to nobody else spinning to me. Like, he's part of our group. He knows our cues. Mark is the ill DJ and the ill, like scratch battle that ain't producing like 50% of our music. So he's interwoven.
What do you find the best thing about being a crew? I mean, so we're gonna go from opposite ends.
Oh man, I think it really teaches you to, you know, you're forced to be understanding. You're dealing, especially like, shit, we got 8 men. Like you got 8 men.
8 grown-ass.
We got 8 different perspectives. I got 8 different individual lives outside of what they do as a musician or you know, as an MC, whatever, as an artist. I think it teaches you really, you know, going back to you know, talking about being a family, and you really have to. It's a true statement. I mean, it's kind of cliche when it comes to talking about being in a band or being in a group or whatever. It's like, oh, brotherhood, but you know, you fight like a family. You have great times, like you're on top of the world at one point, and then
even to the extent you chill with your band member or, you know, partner in rhyme or whatever, more than you do.
The thing with crews at first is one goal at first. Everyone's on board at first, and that's the good. People show up on time, you know, we make good music, whatever. Then, after a couple of months, start hearing stuff. You really are the strength of the crew. You really don't need the group. You can stand out on your own. So a crew that started off like 20, 25, gets down to only 5 people on stage, down to 2 people on stage, and then you start saying the quotes, even by myself on this. And it's just like, man, what happened to the movement? Yeah. You know, what happened to the merch? Yeah. What happened to that? So I would say the good is in the beginning, but then you're gonna hit the up roads, and then after that, some people hit you again, like, hey, you still doing music? Man, my fault, man, I had baby issues, I had car problems, I went back to school, I met Christ, you know what I'm saying? So there's all kinds of reasons why they didn't put in 100%, you know what I'm saying, to keep the crew straight. And there is no I in team, it's true.
Yeah.
But
unless you rock.
What, you know what I'm saying? but it's like in Tunnel Movement, Y City, it's like numbers make stuff happen. 7 oddities. Numbers make stuff happen.
7 odds.
So you gotta have numbers. But when people start getting into their own world, remember, you wasn't doing nothing until you got into a crew.
Yeah.
Because in a crew, I know he's gonna show up, and it makes me have a better show because my family's there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what
And
you're saying.
so when you get out the crew, nobody gonna show up because I got beef with this man. Well, I don't want to be in the middle of it. You know what I'm saying? And people choose sides.
But at the same time, people can break up crews and there could be no bad blood.
True. It could just be growth. I mean, it just be growth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of tired of chasing this. I know this is what you're doing. I have nothing but love and respect for what you're doing. You keep continuing doing what you've been doing. I got, you know, I got your back 100%. You rock through. I'm just
You know, ideologists.
And I still support you. It's no problem.
Back from what I said, my voice felt the most of dark beauty. If you're the last day in the club, if you ever started for me, shut for the tomato. I come with frozen fresh up blows. When you get those, the mind that victim. Have this shit from the trigger that fat, powerful couple. 16 years with them girls get. If you ever leave this conflict, it will always stay involved when I'm trip that shit. You think you hot since you wanna get this? I got a shit to this shit was fixed. It will always remain wrong with this bitch. And we don't know who's doing this. I want everybody to make some noise! Make some noise! Make some noise! Make some noise! New Chicago run this motherfucker! Hell yeah! 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 When I say waffle, you say gang! Waffle! 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 Gang! 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 Waffle! Waffle! Waffle!
So I'm gonna start with Awdazcate, man. I'm gonna say, you know, being from Chicago and, you know, being able to travel, what do you think is the biggest difference between you and, let's say, a lot of MCs you might rock the mic with outside of the state or even the country? You know, do you feel there's a difference? Do you feel that there's...
You can't compare another dude from Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Their hunger, their musical background, because in Chicago, it's rich in music, house music, soul, blues. A lot of people ain't heard the records. So we go out of state, you know, when we went out there, they don't know what record they can, you know, or get people after Chicago probably not there because it was just how they was raised. Like, you go to Kansas City, you know, my people out there, they want the E40. So if we got to get the crowd into it, we got to pay some E40, mailman or something. But when you talk to other MCs, their goals is different. The way Chicago people move is just different. We about hustle, get shirts out, get CDs out, getting videos out, getting clothing lines out, getting, you know what I'm saying? And every day it's the religion of hip hop. But it's just when I go out in town and when it's time to do a show, I'm going 100% harder because I'm representing Chicago. They represent their town. They might go, me, I'm and that's how you come back.
But you do that here too. I've seen plenty of you say,
but you see what? Everybody got phones and they put it on YouTube. It's seen everywhere. You got homies everywhere.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you just rock the show. The only people that's at the show see you rock. Now it's, you know, Fake Shore Drive or Ruby Hornet or a closed session. Everybody seeing your performance. And don't act like just because a person don't talk to you, people know who you are.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why the hatred
It's the way it is. I wouldn't kill him.
Well, I think as far as the hatred, I think that comes from a lot of MCs that aren't necessarily, and I don't want to sound arrogant with this, that dope. Because they're not necessarily getting shows or they're not getting booked for things.
But it's hatred.
And they feel like,
because they feel slighted. No, fuck all that. They feel entitled. If he's doing it, I can do it.
But it doesn't happen like that.
It doesn't happen that way.
It's not like that. There's a lot of work that goes into getting these shows.
It ain't no, and when I do shows, it ain't no click shit.
No.
You know, and people feel that way, I'm fucking sorry. But at the same time, don't feel entitled that I should be on the same stage as you. I should be on the same stage as you. You're not there yet.
I think our competition, because you gotta be dope to rock in Chicago.
Yeah, you do.
Now, if you go to Michigan or if you go to Wisconsin, you see people rocking that stage off beat.
Yeah.
Completely. Do you even know there's a beat there? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real, I'm not even trying to knock it, but I'm being for real. And these dudes are touring because they get so much support behind everybody else.
Well, there's not a lot going on. Well, I consider Chicago.
I'm saying everywhere. I'm not even just talking about that. But I'm talking about you can get like an opener act from Chicago to go to another state and that be their main stage the whole time, every show that they do it. Because we are on our shit.
And from
Stage presence, we are
experience,
on our merch shit, we are on everything that we're supposed to do because we come from a people that if they don't like you, they'll let you know. Nobody would tell you. Like, there's a lot of people over, like, in different states I've been to and I've seen shows. Dudes suck. And I'm just gonna blatantly say it. They suck, but then nobody tells them they suck. So if they believe that they're good and everybody else that they think they believe that they're good and their sound is like amateur and like, you know, not pure, it's like, that's not what it is. But I know everything is not for everybody, and I know at the same time, I know the difference between amateur and different. I am a rapper. I know the difference. You understand what I'm saying? Well, I know when you're trying to do something that's out of the box, or I know when you don't know the formula or foundation or the format of how to begin.
It's different trying to break that formula up and try something new versus
But you don't know the foundation of what's going on.
You can't build a house without foundation.
But that's the thing. But they're trying to build it, and they're building mansions out of sticks, and it's crazy.
See, I think Chicago right now to me is like '94 New York, because you have so many dope MCs right now in Chicago. I like to call it kind of like the Chitlin Circuit, because we've all rocked shows at some of the same places. We've all rocked shows together. I think there's so much skill. I don't think you agree with that.
94, we're right now.
I think Chicago has so much underground talent that it reminds me of like dope hip hop was coming out of New York around that era.
I'm gonna put it to you this way. This is my 2000 Chicago was 94 New York.
Okay.
I don't even know, because Cap D.
2000 Chicago.
Cap D and all that was.
To me, I think right now because there's a lot of cats with skill. And hold up, before we go and start going into different conversations, I think there's a lot of motherfuckers with skill that actually get shows and get put on. And you know, there's so much people with skill in Chicago. In the underground,
what is
to me, in the underground sense.
Put on?
Yeah,
It's like if
put on, I mean, as far as shows, because you know, a lot of us get maybe like 4 shows a month. You know,
I'm exposing my age at this point. Back in '94, there was Shy-Rock, there was Dem Dare.
And what's up with Shy-Rock?
There was, you could not freestyle unless you was dope.
Unless
you're right.
That's it.
That was
Maybe here.
Lower Links, Box Shop. If you was whack, beat party off the stage.
Oh yeah.
And you're not coming back unless you show outside. Let me what you got. Don't even waste your time. And that's when you saw the Dirty MFs and all these other MCs, you know, right now. But now we have these gatekeepers that approve you. This is what it is, and that's what it is. Stop looking at these flyers and say, these are the people that's dope. Stop putting the same people on the flyers because these are dope. We got other MCs, so I have to disagree. That's 94 hip hop, because 94 hip hop, there was so many styles whatever. Right now, if you my homie, you on the bill. You cannot be the same motherfuckers on the bill.
I'm not talking about necessarily bill-wise. I'm talking about talent-wise too. Because there's so many to me. There's so many dope MCs. There's so many dope MCs.
It was 94. We had
you know, like I said, so many dope MCs. We had a lot of people that are actually on their grind.
We have artists.
Like, I've been here for over 10 plus years. I consider myself a Chicago MC and a Chicago hip hop artist because my music career started here. When I did the Source Unsigned Hype Battle, I was here. You know, all my accolades came from here being my base. So I'm from Flint, Michigan, proud. Honestly, I don't like to give a state or city no props over my origin. I give it to my mother. I come from her. But I give Chicago like its props. And I've built with like, you know, B-Boy B and Breaker Ray and Cassius D and Dr. Groove and like the OGs of like to get the history, whether they're cantankerous, whether they're just humble or whoever. Like I probably know more Chicago history than a lot of Chicagoans, you know, and it's so rich, you know, like you talk to Jacinda and Jaquan from Coomba Links, like it's so rich, like the culture. And I'm still a Midwest dude, I'm from Flint, Michigan, so I'm still a Midwest dude. So the vibe is similar. In my opinion, it's more blue collar, like Midwest is very blue collar. Like you talk to some of the footwork kings, they'll tell you, like going over in Hollywood and doing, so they're like, super Hollywood, it's different, everybody's, you know, and that's a kindred, like, idea. So I think just that in general, like the grit and grind of like just being a blue collar, really working part of our everyday life. It's part of our everyday life. The thing that I think probably like with the hatred, and this is probably the blessing of being an import to here is, I think Chicago gets a pretty tough rap on shit, like with the hatred, and I understand the entitlement issue and all of that, and the regional situations and whatnot, but I think a lot of it, man, people just don't know. Like I mean, I'll call it spade, I don't give a fuck. A lot of the trap and drill rappers like suck live because, you know,
rhyme over their own lyrics.
Well,
Please do not rhyme over your own lyrics.
But they never done the show, and there's a lot of people. There's a lot of. But there's a lot of people, and this is from someone who came out and like, this is my playground, you know. And I remember we got a lot of songs like, how these dudes, and then our crew was like, we first formed, Drew's from New York, Pete was from Germany, I'm from Flint, Michigan. Like that was the original Microphone Misfits. It was like, man, how's these dudes getting in Source Unsigned Hype and doing all this, and you know, like they ain't from Chicago, like, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of them, from what I've seen, there's a lot of people outside of the scene of hip hop that are pulling a lot of strings and pulling people a certain way. The trap and drill rappers, most of them would probably be more humble and want to talk to us and like learn from us, you know, because they want to get better shows.
Yeah, but you know, it's an image they're trying to protect too.
It is, but you know,
part of that drill and trap shit, you know, a lot of that shit is image.
And then there's the purists too. Like you got the purists that, you know, are pulling them, and people like, you know, it's gotta be hip hop, da 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 da. And we're not that's why there ain't no women at the shows, because we're not cultivating like the people. We're not teaching people, like, you know, like I just don't be asking people to get on to certain shows all the time.
I mean, there's a lot of elements that come from being there. I mean, it's a 30 or 45 minute drive, so it's very accessible. So it's like you get a lot of influence from Chicago, but at the same time, 99% of what you're seeing is from right here in Elgin. So it's like really it's a whole different, I mean, we don't have a market to appeal to that Chicago has, so we just have to work like, Chicago, it's like you hit the people that you feel may give a shit, because there's so many people. And Elgin, it's like you have to hit everybody. You don't know, you can't pick and choose who you feel like might give a shit, because there's not enough. There's
like that.
There's not a lot of people.
What do you think they made you step your game up?
Yeah. Because we came from. I mean, when Watch City started, it was like, alright, we're the big fish in the little pond. Like, we could. Who the fuck's doing too much?
Nobody knew shit.
Rec Center years back was killing shit, and I was in it. They came to they were doing shit in Chicago, and I was in Chicago, so they were like, they did what we're doing already, you know what I mean? So like that happened, but then in the years in between, there was nothing going on. So yeah, I think it made it. We wanted, you know, and this is still the goal, and I feel like the scene is growing a little bit now. But it's like we don't want to have to be in that. We're Chicago. We're not Chicago, you know. You're your own place. Right. Not only that, but it's just like it's a different. We're not seeing the same thing as you see.
Yeah, I seen B-Boys go to a battle once, like in Detroit, and they were Elton B-Boys, and they were like, I think it was Self-Fact. And they was like, we are not going to battle until you stop saying we're from Chicago. Like they refuse to get on the floor.
That's dope though, right?
So I
know what you're talking about.
But I guess going out of state, I mean, it's the same type of man. Like I said,
that's what I was gonna ask you too. When you go out of state, do you say Elgin, Illinois?
Yeah. No, we'll say I'll always say I'm from Elgin, and sometimes people know. You'll be like, you're in Cincinnati, and someone had a Bears hat, and I said, oh, you're from Chicago. I said, no, I'm from Elgin.
Shit.
We're from Elgin too. We're about to perform in 5 minutes. You know, I mean, you'd be surprised.
You in the whole group?
It's not as big as Chicago, but it's still like third.
No.
You know what I mean? So there's like, when you go out of state, and like I said, a lot of influence comes from Chicago. We like Chicago sports teams. We like all the this. You go to Chicago multiple times per year, especially, you know, I'm out here all the fucking time. So there's still that influence. But yeah, so going out of state, it is. The main thing that I think I've noticed is like it's behind and a lot of Midwest towns. Like, I'll go to a big city in another state and it'll feel like Elgin. You know, it'll feel like the suburbs of Chicago.
Because you know what it is here and you know what it is in Elgin.
Right, so it's like I'm playing Nelly and I'm playing like in a club, 50 Cent, and wearing tall tees and shit. It's like it's not 8-9 years behind what's going on. Not just, I mean, it's not even.
No.
So it's different. Yeah, it's different.
It's not ever taking a shot. It's how you really feel, and if that's how you feel, then it is what it is.
Right. But on that note, it's time to wrap everything up. Time went by way too fast with this episode.
I know, man.
Way too fast, and you came in and had none of it too. But much love, thank you all for watching. Drinks at the table. Much love to I'm So Shy for sponsoring tonight's event. You know, we'll put up the link for I'm So Shy on the episode of YouTube. It'll be in the description. Much love to Awdazcate for joining us. Waffle Gang. Much love to D-Nick and the Microphone Misfits. Much love to more Watch City. Kwote Tunnel Movement. And of course, I'm EclipticShadow from Ideologists. Thank y'all for watching. Keep tuning in. We're going to keep doing more. Sometimes I get a little busy, can't do as much as I want to, but we're going to keep it going. K-I-M, son. And on that note, we're out of here.
And they bring like 2-3 people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there was nobody really there. So we got tunnel movement, and all the acts loved us. Like they were.
So they were the ones in the front, like, oh shit.
They chanted encore.
Oh!
And made us do 2 more songs. Like
TSP, 3 Strike Posse. You was whack. They used to rush the stage. Planet Mars.
Planet Mars looked like something out of 8 Mile.
Ray, I was like, yo man, I'm gonna need you to help me out on these ad-libs. And I was also like, Ray's like coming out like, I think that was like his 3rd show on the crew. And it was a big show.
Yeah.
Like Shirley King was like molesting him and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. So, and we went hard. And like, but, yeah, I mean, I just, people were still like, Kennedy Playground, people still talking about it.
Y'all ain't ready. What? Hey yo, I'm bruising you clones in more bodies than funeral homes. You losing your soul, I sit on Lucifer's throne. Whatever you choosing is wrong, cause you ain't a part of my clique. What I spit is righteous, I stay on point like ice picks. No need for psychics, I'm a man of my own. Damage your dome with the words of passionate poems. Speaking the truth is what I proceeded to do. And if I was an atheist, I'd make believers in you. Abusing the limits, making y'all fools.